activist, a lawyer, a judge, a politician, a journalist, and a philosopher. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maximillen de Robespierre. Maximillen, Max. To begin, please tell me about your childhood. Do you owe your success to your parents? In some ways, yes, I do. My mother died when I was 6, and my father ran off soon after that. My 4 younger siblings and I were raised by my mother's parents. This led me to be tough and independent. I felt as though I raised my siblings myself. I was born in Arras, in France, in 1758, although I was educated in Paris and graduated with a law degree in 1781. I worked as a lawyer in my hometown, which made me quite comfortable economically. You demanded political change within the monarchy. Who or what was it who inspired you to stand up for the lower class? Jean-Jacques Rousseau, the social philosopher, was a big part of who I became. I was entranced by the way he was willing to stand up for what he believed in, even if no one was willing to listen or follow him. He saw an unjust society, as we all did, but in the early stages, nobody thought they could do anything about it. We were taught that our government system and the monarchy was the only way, that there was no alternative. But I believe we needed change, and the people of an unfair feudal system listened and elected me as a States General of the French legislature when I was 30. Being in politics is tough. How did you become so popular with the people? The people liked how honest I was about the monarchy. I did not negotiate or compromise. For me, politics wasn't about making friends. It was about making an equal society for all. So obviously I was favoured over the wealthy, traditional politicians who were obsequious to the monarchy. Though I carried this attitude when I left government. But my spot in Parliament wasn't easy to keep. My views against slavery and allowing all men to vote were well beyond my time. And so when I tried to do something for these issues within Parliament, I lost. What did you think of Marie Antoinette? Despite her wrongdoings, did you not pity her for just a bit for being young and having a child die before the revolution, then having her children taken away from her? Marie and her husband were the reason so many people suffered in starvation and poverty. Once Marie and her husband drove the country into debt, the lower class were forced to pay so much tax. So my answer is no. I do not pity her. She was tried, and in the end, it was proven that she got what she was deserved. If you were king, instead of King Louis, how would you have run the monarchy? I would have made less contributions to the American Revolutionary War. France spent 1.3 billion livres in financial aid, which was detrimental to the French economy. This led to the high taxations of the French public. It wasn't the French's responsibility to help the Americans, in my opinion. In the midst of the French Revolution, you had a lot of power. In fact, you were the center point of the revolution. Although you became very violent and killed a lot of people. At this point in history, you weren't very liked due to your violence. How did you keep control and your position despite being so disliked? My speeches and literature skills helped me remain in power. I could change the minds of a whole audience in one speech. I suppose it was these manipulative skills that helped me persuade so many people. Also, I was a very violent person. I had the guillotine placed in the city square, and it was used at almost constant rate. People didn't want to cross me as they feared me. This technique is in a dictator is quite common. Take Adolf Hitler, for example. Although I would compare my wrongdoings with his, I do believe there were similar ways in how we used literature and violence to manipulate large groups of people. Originally, when you were in politics, you tried to stop the death sentence and were quite strongly against it. But during the French Revolution, you fought for the execution of King Louis, and by the end of the French Revolution, you had executed hundreds. What was it that changed your views on the death penalty? At first, I believed King Louis XVI, his family, and his supporters deserved death because of the suffering they put upon so many others. But the French Revolution became so violent, I went quite insane. What happened in your final days, and how did you die? On July 27th, 1794, I was arrested by the National Embassy, and they took me to jail. However, the warden refused to imprison me, so I fled to a hotel nearby. My supporters came to my aid with weapons, but I didn't want to cause too much chaos. I was sick of it, and I knew this was the end. I attempted suicide. I shot myself in the head, but I only injured my jaw. Soon, soldiers from the National Embassy stormed into my hotel and arrested myself and my allies. The following evening, we were all executed by the guillotine without trial. Over the following 42 days, my supporters were killed and our era was over. The French Revolution died down after that, and 6 years later, Napoleon took over and put an end to the dictatorship of France. If the monarchy as a dictatorship failed, then why did you believe a bureaucrat as a dictatorship would work? I suppose I was caught up by my power. In the beginning, I envisioned an equal, just society where leaders would be elected by all members of society. But in the bloody, heated chaos of the revolution, of what was the French Revolution, I believed no one else was fit for the power my rule came with. However, I went quite mad with power. Why should we remember you so long after your death? I led the French Revolution. I changed the lives of French people across the country and made my mark on history. I took matters into my own hands and preached justice to be done in government. I believe governments should look at what happened to France to create a better political system for societies across the globe. Thank you very much.